Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back. This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. Welcome back yet again, everybody. I thank you guys for being here and spending some time with me. We are headed to 10,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody for liking, subscribing, sharing the videos, and making sure that you guys are checking my backlog. I do have a backlog of 400 something videos where I do talk about, a lot of the most talked about niche perfumes on the planet. Now, speaking of niche perfumes, I'm going to take this time on this video to explain to you guys really what niche perfumes are about. So by definition, niche perfumes simply means it's a company that makes perfumes, period. Okay, so compared to like a Prada or like a YSL that they make clothes, they make makeup and other things, niche perfumes are about companies that strictly make perfume. But in my opinion, that definition has totally expanded because of the phenomenon called fragcom. Because of the fragrance community, I think that this definition has quite expanded. It's got different associations on it. There's the term niche snob, okay, which is, I'm going to address that as well, but there's a term called niche snob that certain people in this community actually use for people that are into niche. So I will explain that as well. Now, before I continue talking about niche perfumes, let's go spray one of my favorite niche perfumes. I haven't reviewed it yet, I'm so sorry. And this is also one of my favorite Gulf fragrances, probably my favorite. This is Roja Bahrain, all right? This is Roja Bahrain. We're gonna spray this thing right now to set up the vibe, the mood for this video. Man. Okay guys, so let's talk niche. Now, first and foremost, the whole designer niche thing. What's that all about? So for a lot of people have designer and then they go into niche. And then there are also people that go from niche to designer, and then there are people with mixed collections, okay? For me, I would say 90% of my collection is niche, 10% is designer, and I'll explain why. This is not the first time that I actually have gotten into fragrances, okay? So I've been into fragrances ever since I was in high school. As early as high school, that's when I was wearing fragrances, and they were mostly designer fragrances. And to me, that was very important because these designer fragrances at that time would set up this beautiful aura around me. And of course, it would give me so much confidence. People would compliment me. When I was in high school, I started with designer fragrances. That was quite a long time ago. And designer fragrances did the job for me at the time because in high school, all right, this is what's important. You guys got to know is that first and foremost, there are people that smell bad. And there are people that smell bad, period. They stink, okay? I'm sure you guys have a neighbor that stinks. You probably have a coworker or, a family member that doesn't smell nice, okay, for whatever reason. I knew this person, for example, that wore this like hair product, or I don't know if it was a perfume or a hair product, but it was so bad that it just stunk the room. So anybody that was within like 4 feet would like smell this like spoiled coconut type of smell, okay? So the thing you gotta understand is there are people that smell bad. There are also people that smell neutral. And actually for women, if we're talking about women, a lot of women do prefer people that smell neutral, all right? So that's the interesting thing, and I will address that later when I talk about niche perfumes. Now, because you have people that smell bad and smell neutral, that's where designer fragrances come in my opinion. I have no complaints, man. Designer fragrances did the job. I would walk into the room, bam, aura would hit people. I would get compliments. People like, oh man, who smells good? You smell good, obviously. I got a girlfriend within like the first week or less of starting college, because man, it's just that aura, it's just that vibe. Like I said, there are people that stink, there are people that don't smell like anything, so there are people that smell really bad. And so when you come in with a fragrance that smells good generally, okay, as a baseline, then without a doubt you're gonna get compliments. Without a doubt, people are gonna come to you and say, what's that? Is that you? So that's really where designer is at. Now, the problem with designer is the high level of access related to it. So I can go to a Sephora or a Macy's right now and grab a designer fragrance. And the likelihood that your compadre, the other guy beside you, has the same type of smell, the same type of perfume. And I've said this before, guys, if you are trying to date somebody or you're hanging out with some chick, I mean, you don't want to be on that same smell as the last guy or the last few guys that she's dated. See all these reviewers talking about club fragrances, for example. I mean, I don't want to be related, I don't want to be like, triggering a memory of a previous guy, a previous drunk guy, or a previous ex-boyfriend that kind of messed her up. I don't want to be that guy because we have like the same perfume. If you are about, smelling different than the other guy, and that's quite important in my opinion socially, then that's the first thing that you're going to encounter when it comes to niche fragrances. Because the designer fragrances, especially now, man, they just smell the same. Like, I just smelled this new Prada Luna Rosa, like Ocean, for example. And when I smelled it, I was like, oh my God, this is another smell that we all know. It's like a designer fragrance smell. And it's like, yeah, it smells good. Again, from that baseline of not smelling anything or not smelling good, sure, that's gonna help. But again, how many people are gonna smell this and wear this? And how many people around, you are already having it? So I don't know. Like, to me, I was just, oh God, like, not another one. And I feel like the companies are just going to rotate this thing over and over and over, and they're gonna run it to the ground because there's always some schmuck willing to buy it. Now in comes niche fragrances, guys, okay? So in my opinion, niche fragrances, the reason it's called niche, to me at least, is because it's a little pocket. That's really what a niche is. It's a little pocket. It's a little pocket in the whole universe where you're concentrated on a certain type of fragrance. Now, the first thing I want to say about niche fragrances is that most of them have a unique algorithm, if you will, from top notes to base notes. So a lot of them are not immediately like telling the message. They're not immediate in giving you the impression, okay? And that's something I do like about niche fragrances right here. Because they're like that. There are different notes, different like places to go within. Like, for example, this thing I'm wearing right now, Bahrain. This one right here, it's like, until today, like, I can't really explain why I like it so much. Is it the elegance? Is it the manliness? Is it the laid-back nature of Bahrain? It's just a lot of things that go with this fragrance that, I feel like, fragrances like this will always keep you on your toes. It'll always keep people around you on their toes. And so it's never like a straight, like, okay, here's aquatic notes, here's lavender, here's spice, here's cedar. Fragrances like this, it's quite a journey. And stuff like this definitely is a little bit more complex than your average. And that's really where you want to be. I mean, at least in my opinion, is that you want to be a little bit more complex than the next guy. Now, the thing about niche fragrances, in my opinion, is that you also take a risk. Okay, so this is for risk takers. If you want to play safe with fragrances, then go to your local Macy's counter. However, if you want to take a risk, okay, you can get into niche fragrances and you can really get to test that. If you want to kind of like elevate your aura, you want to elevate your image, okay, and turn it into something else from where it was, I believe that niche fragrances can do that kind of job. Take, for example, this fragrance right here, Boudicca the Victorious Dasman, one of my favorite rose fragrances. Now, before all this, I never thought that I could ever wear rose, that rose would be a part of fragrances, okay, especially my collection, or like something I would consider to put here in my stack. This one is an incredibly well blended rose oud fragrance that, again, if you want to just step up your game and you want to be like, man, I want to be smelling different, I want to smell rose but in like a high quality, something that maybe a prince would wear, then you go with Dasman. The beautiful thing about niche fragrances, in my opinion, when you're wearing it, is that you take that risk. Not because you're taking that risk and you're gonna smell bad, okay? I think it's like that type of risk where you want people to be like, what's that? You want them to be curious. You want them to be undecided even, okay, when it comes to you, or maybe even intimidated. If you want to redefine the aura that you're giving, you want to change your aura. You want to make it to where people are on their toes. You want to make it to where people are at attention or curious and they're wondering what is up with your mysterious aura, your mysterious nature tonight. Then you take something like Dasman right here. You don't wear a generic everybody smells like a type of perfume. You wear something like this, you wear rose, a manly rose with some oud, and you really get everybody to think like, what the heck is going on? Who is that great smelling guy? But I can't put a finger on it. Now, speaking of niche snobs, man, I want to talk about this term. In my opinion, highly stupid term. Made by some people from the fragrance community. I think it's made from, you know, inferiority or people that have an underdog mentality. Because, I mean, right now, after a year plus of being in this community, I've found out that there are people that buy either clones or designer fragrances and spend way more than my niche friends. It's not about snobbery of, you know, somebody that has more money and people are snobbing you because you are paying, you know, $80 per bottle and these other people are paying like $200, $300 per bottle. It is totally proven that there are people of Fragcom that spend $1,500 to $3,000 on clones alone. We know this. So it's really an inferiority complex to feel like other people have snobbed you because they wear niche, which is really stupid. But here's what it is, guys. When you're wearing niche fragrances, it definitely sets up an aura of superiority. Okay, that's for sure. Because the companies that create them are so set on making these perfumes to be more high-end, more high-class, more superior. There's a reason why a lot of them are in Harrods in the 8th floor. Like they made a whole floor at Harrods for like a perfume boutique. And even when I came back from Costa Mesa Mall, now they got an entire floor just on perfumes. Why is that? Because there's some hint of exclusivity in there, okay? And I talked about exclusivity already, being different, and of course they elevate that to a higher class, okay? So they make it expensive, or, you know, they use way more expensive ingredients, and so all of that will really lead to some point of an aura of superiority. And if it helps you with like your confidence, with your mood, with your vibe, then so be it, okay? I mean, if you look at models going down the runway, when they got the little vibe going on, are they like this? Are they like this? You know? Hey, what's going on? No, models aren't like that. They got this fierce look. They're going down the runway, pure confidence. Why? Because they're wearing the most expensive clothes in the world, right? The highest quality clothes in the world, down the runway, avant-garde. And so when you're wearing these niche perfumes, I would say that's the closest thing to this stupid term called niche snob, because it gives you that vibe. It gives you that aura of superiority, of complexity. And so you're walking with a lot more, you know, pizzazz, if you will. But don't think that because of that, people are snobby. All right, that is totally untrue. A lot of people I know in the niche community, those that really collect, are some of the nicest, most approachable people that actually offer a lot of really good advice. In my opinion, this phrase is done. And finally, the thing I like about niche fragrances right here is how it connects to something. The thing that got me into this whole fragrance like reviewing period was that when I went to Dubai, I was really like stung. I was stung by this smell in the mall, and it was like incense, rose, oud, and it hit me, and I had never smelled anything like that, okay, years ago, to where like I would actually seek out even the cheap Dubai perfumes at the mall, like not so expensive. I would like try them, and my wife would be like, you know, why are you trying these, like, you know, these Middle Eastern type of perfumes? Like, it doesn't smell like this back home, right? Stuff like this. It really triggers like an emotion or a memory, or it hits you with a connection with a culture. And I think that that's the big deal too, that in my opinion, designer fragrances can never touch. Like for example, take Black Calamat from Arabian Oud. I mean, this one right here already has Arabic writing on it, but this one right here reminds me of Dubai, okay? That general smell that I was smelling in Dubai, this one definitely reminds me of. It brings me back to that moment when I was in Dubai. Now, how many people in the frag community have actually been to Dubai? Not so many. Probably not even New York. And that's why, you know, these fragrance companies continue to make New York-based fragrances, okay? Apple Brandy on the rocks. Roja just released a 700 euro, I think it was like $1,000 perfume called Manhattan. And why is that? Because there's a lot of people that have never been to Manhattan. There are a lot of people that haven't experienced nightlife in Manhattan, for example. And so these fragrances bring it conveniently to you. Remember Desert Moroccan right there? The lovely desert marketplace over there in Morocco, brought to you conveniently by a fragrance. Isn't that crazy? Or Arabian Oud, Sir Kalimat. This is, you know, the general smell in Dubai. brought to me so I can always remember, you know, the memory of Dubai right here. Let's smell that. Yeah, wow, man, so good. Again, if you've never experienced it, you've never been there, man, you are taking, for example, with Manhattan or whatever Roja makes, you're taking his experiences, Roja's pool of experiences, traveling in these places, put together in a scent. Can't beat it. You can't beat it. So for me, that's really the biggest thing when it comes to niche fragrances. That's what compels me to collect more, because these companies are really targeting like that. You know, they bring in culture, they bring in an idea, a concept, they bring in a connection to a memory. And I think that that's my biggest reason why I continue to do it. I mean, again, I have enough where I smell good. I'm above the baseline of, you know, from not smelling good to smelling good. I think I'm the most well-known good smelling nurse in my hospital right here. Every time fragrance houses conceptualize and release a new fragrance, it's always tied to something. And if it relates to me, it is something that stokes my curiosity and I want to try it, then definitely I'm still in the game. Okay, so that's really my definition of niche fragrances, and I hope that this video clears the air for those that are wanting to know about niche fragrances. Why is it so different with, you know, the designer fragrance experience? Again, this boils down to you right there, you at home, what you think and what you feel. Where are you at right now in your fragrance game? Are you just simply trying to get out of that baseline, or are you willing to go further? Okay, so if you are willing to go further, then without a doubt you got to check out all my videos, 400 videos, mostly on niche fragrances, because all these things I just explained, I do explain individually on all these videos, okay? All these video reviews, no hype reviews, it's all there. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, good or bad. There's no right or wrong answer. Feel free to write down your comments, your thoughts. What got you into niche fragrances? Okay, if you are a collector, what got you in it? Is there a fragrance that really hit you and that's where you started collecting? Let me know on the comments below. Again, I love reading your comments. All right, so until then, this is Troy D. Hopefully you guys have a great upcoming weekend. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a video this weekend, but I will try. Please stay safe. More blessings to you guys, and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the videos. Peace.